So, the topic of today is winning. And that's really not true. It's really about why winning is not important, or why there's no such thing as winning, or why winning as we define it is really not the thing you should be striving for. And I'm really talking about, it's not the destination, it's the journey kind of mentality. But it's more than that, because people really get stuck in the belief that once you get something, you'll be happy. And it can be small things, like as soon as I, get through this day of work, as soon as I, get through this line, as soon as I whatever, or it can be big things like as soon as I graduate from college, as soon as I find a perfect partner and get married and have kids. And so people build up these stories, that these dreams. And culturally, we tend to think that that's a great thing. It's a wonderful thing. We encourage people, dream big, yay, But there's huge problems with that kind of thinking. Because anytime you are focusing your world on something that is yet to happen, then you're not in the now. Now, you can be heading in a direction while you enjoy the now, but that's a very dangerous thing. And it becomes especially dangerous because other people in power situations, have a high motivation to keep us in those chasing carrots, chasing somethings at all times. I mean, an extreme example of that is when certain elements of the Christian church took teachings of Jesus and somehow wrapped it into this dogma that involves sacrificing the moments that you have on earth, sacrificing them for heaven. Yikes! Talk about not living in the moment. So, I've actually found that if I'm interacting with people, sometimes and I feel like I'm not clicking and we're not making sense to each other, and sometimes it's so simple. I'm like, oh, you have the mentality that as soon as this or this or this happens, then you'll be happy. And you can tell when you're talking to somebody, they'll be talking about the things that they're working on as as soon as I lose those 10 pounds, as soon as I get this, as soon as and it's like, what if it never gets any better than it is right now? That is the way to always be thinking and living. Because there is only now. And if we get caught up into these dreams, one, first of all, generally those dreams are things that we have bubbled not up from our hearts and our something innate in us, but it is something that has been layered on top of us through socialization, through our culture, through our media, so that we tend to see certain physical manifestations of life as being what we consider to be happy. We have a picture of what happiness looks like, and it's thinner than we are, and it is having more money than we have. It is all these things. I have been struggling a lot with myself, and one of the things that I work on a lot in coaching is the attachments that I have to what I think a spiritual teacher looks like. And I don't mean like my attire. I think, to me, someone who deserves respect spiritually is someone who meditates, someone who does yoga, someone who reads a lot more, someone who goes on retreats, spiritual retreats, and things like that. And so when I first went into therapy, wrong word choice. When I first went in to see a coach, he really challenged me on that. And he's like, why do you want to do these things? Like, and the more I delved in, it was like, oh my gosh, there's a voice on my shoulder that says, you're not good enough until you do these things. You're not until you do this, until you do this, until you do this. And what that was doing was totally invalidating what is in the now. I've known people that want to write a book, but they're going to get a graduate degree first. And it's like, if you want to get the degree because there's knowledge that you need to get before you write, that makes sense. But if you feel like you need to have some sort of qualifications before you express yourself, that's crazy. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized how crazy I was being. And so a lot of that is challenging the voice that says, you're not a spiritual person, or you're not this, or you're not this. And being like, no. In this moment, everything is perfect. Everything is exactly as it is and as it should be, and I'll do the best I can with that. And bravo. Now, the reason why I called it winning, at least the reason why I wanted the topic of today to be winning, is because so often when we think of these things in the future, that's what I need to get to win. So for me, it was like, okay, if I get a yoga practice down, if I can, do these certain X, Y, Z, if I start meditating every day, then I will have achieved the thing that I believe is what peaceful happiness, whatever, looks like. Now, the truth is, I feel incredibly peaceful and happy. The only thing tormenting me is the belief that I need to have those other things to be happy. So, winning is not getting something. We get trained to think winning is just something that happens outside of ourselves, some achievement, some beating somebody else. But let me go back and try to put things in perspective. In the grand scheme of the cosmos, yes, I said grand scheme of the cosmos, our position, our place in time and space on a planet with the balance of water and gases and heat and life, it's like jackpot to be on this planet in the universe. Now, before you just start wallowing in how amazing that is, get this. Even amongst all of the matter, the bits and atoms on this planet, a very finite amount of the matter on this planet is alive and gets to cruise around, has vision, has neurons that can actually perceive what's happening. But get this, we as human beings not only can receive stimulus of this universe, we have a consciousness so that we can actually be aware of the unfolding of the universe as it's happening. We can be aware. We are conscious to this amazing miracle that exists constantly, this now moment, that is so rich that in some ways the only way we can deal with it is to just start taking it all for granted and only start noticing the bad things. But break out of that habit. Keep snapping back and remembering, oh my gosh, I can actually witness the world. And from that perspective, even the most horrific situations, the human drama that we all have to endure, is a gift. It's like there is all sorts of matter and space and atoms in the universe that is totally unfazed by the fact that, a job was lost, or something was stolen, or blah, 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 blah. The fact that we can even comprehend, that we can even process this drama, these stories, these things, is a gift. And when we can see it in that way, then everything is a gift. I had a powerful experience when I was in Costa Rica, going through it was a rainforest or a cloud forest. They've got them both, and I not really the expert when it comes to what the difference is. But one of the objectives of this tour we went on through the rainforest with this group of 12 people, they kept the guide who kept saying, if you look over here, there are too many trees. Too many trees over here have grown, which I thought was great. What he really meant was there was many, but there's too many. And so, but he kept saying, we're going to go to this place where there's often a big troop of monkeys. Troop of monkeys? Pack of monkeys? And so we're trudging and hiking, and then we don't find monkeys, and we don't find monkeys. Then we're, I can see they were just here, and we're trying to find the monkeys. And people are just like, cruising, like getting kind of, we're almost, I want to see the monkey. And at some point I just went like, wait a minute. And I let the crowd just kind of lead me down on the trail. And I squatted down in the mud, and I just looked at like a 2 foot by 2 foot square of ground. And there was, I could see, and I just stared at it, and I saw like a little centipede crawling, and some other ant thing, some other thing crawling around. And there was a little like leaf budding through the mud, and then there was this decay and these broken leaves, and then a brand new leaf, and this flower thing right over there. And I was like, wow. And if I get even closer, there's even smaller things. And there's all these amazing things happening in this 2 foot by 2 foot square. And then I stood up and looked around, and the jungle was so dense that you couldn't see more than, 20 feet. But the jungle went for miles. And this 2 feet of amazement is as far as I could see in every direction. But all of us in our group, because of the stories that we were telling ourselves, we were rushing right by all that stuff just to try to find monkeys. And life is exactly like that. We get caught up in these stories of the monkeys that we're supposed to see, that are supposed to make us, that's going to be the cool thing. That's the thing we want to see, whether that is, the cool house or a cool video game or a cool new phone or an iPad or whatever the thing is, whatever the monkey is. We get so caught up in chasing that and winning and getting that we don't realize that there is a jungle of awesomeness that we have the gift of being aware of everywhere. Everywhere. Every person, every flower, every rock, everything you think and smell, every single thing of that is a little bit of gift when you can recalibrate your brain and just see it as, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. So, when you get present, suddenly, monkeys. The world is just full of monkeys. Or everything in the world is as cool as a monkey, more accurately. And so in this now moment that we are sharing, thank you for being such a badass monkey. Which is even more appropriate since monkey is in the chat room. Oh, monkey, go monkey, go monkey. So, let's have a little Hug Nation hug, sink into this now moment, and have some gratitude and appreciation for all of the gifts, especially the gift of sharing this exact now. So rich, so full of amazement. So grab yourself by the shoulders. Give a little thank you to this self-healing, organic thing that takes you through the world, this house of, this spaceship of meat that gives you such an awesome view of the world and the cosmos. And acknowledge that from this state of now awareness, it's all connected. It's all happening right now. It's all a part of this now moment. As far away as the farthest star, as microscopic as the tiniest bit of matter. It's all present in this slice of this now. And all infinity exists in this now. And we can strip away and rid ourselves of the rut of taking things for granted, of not seeing all the miracles, of only paying attention to the goal that we have probably been given, not just even that we're driving from the inside. Then we can just kind of surrender, let go, and allow ourselves to be a part of this massive vibration of compassion, of connection, and of love. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all the love warriors, happy Hug Nation. Thank you for being a part of this now. I love you. Namaste.